everybody. So it's about 2 minutes before 12:30 Central Time. So I will go ahead and get started with our discussion today. This is a discussion I try to stay consistent with doing on Sundays. And I like to do this because I am a corporate recruiter and I have seen a lot of different job seekers asking various questions. And so I just want to use time to be able to share my knowledge. I have worked in the HR field and recruiting field for quite a long time. And I want to make sure that I give back some time and help those that are looking for jobs, and I can give my own tips. A lot of times recruiters aren't able to share as much with candidates as we would like to during our just general interactions with folks, but this is the time where I hope to do that. Hello, Barry. Shout out Barry, one of my members, and Edward, one of my members and moderators. Welcome in. Nice to see you all here. Hey, Eric, how are you? Oh my gosh, I'm doing well. I will say before we get started here, I'm tired today. I'm very tired. I if some of you follow my Instagram, you know I'm taking aerial yoga classes, and so I did. I normally take one class in a day. Yesterday, I don't know why I did this to myself, but I decided, oh, it's a great idea to take two classes. So yesterday, I had a aerial hammock class. If you don't know what it is, look it up. You'll find plenty of videos. And then I also took an alternate class, which was aerial silks. So a hammock is just what you would think of a hammock, but it's silk, and you do acrobatics with that. And silks are two separate pieces of silks that you can maneuver to do all kinds of things with. So I'm leaning towards liking aerial silks a little better, even though it's a little bit of a challenge. I can't even say a little bit of a challenge. Aerial silks is very challenging. And so today I am feeling it because I took two classes. Normally I feel it, but I don't feel it as much. So I'm like, just pulling the chair is like, ooh, ouch. So it's been one of those days, like when you do a really aggressive workout and then the next day you know you're gonna feel it and you know you're gonna suffer. But uh, aerial fitness is very fun. Aerial yoga, all those different things are very, very fun. Uh, I see Edward is having fun in the ads. Thank you for watching the ads. If you are watching the ads, I do appreciate that. I think YouTubers are paid after you watch at least 30 seconds of an ad or advertisement. So I appreciate you, Edward, in the chat watching the ads. Hello, talking with Tommy D. Hello, what's up? What's going on? So anyway, that's how I'm feeling today. I'm just feeling a little bit tired. I'm just feeling a little tired, and I tried to recover a bit this morning. I'll do some stretching later, and hopefully I'll feel better for Monday, right? And the Lume commercials. You know what? Those Lume commercials are so funny. And I don't use Lume, but I do use natural deodorants. I happen to use Native. Native is not sponsoring this video, of course, but those Lume commercials, I think it's Lume, right? A French brand, but it's hilarious. Thanks for watching those. All right, so I'm going to jump in here, probably do a little pause and a break and do a little chat after, but I want to get to some of the topics that I had listed in the About section here, and then I also wanted to hop on some questions that I see on Reddit. You guys know, if you follow any of my other videos, for a while I was doing the Reddit series where I was actually answering questions that folks are posting out there on Reddit. And I think the Reddit is called R Interviews, and there's also another one called R Job Search, and all these different ones. So I would go out there and respond to people, and then I just started saying, like, you know what, I'm just gonna make a video. It's easier. I don't like typing, and so I would just talk about it. Okay, let me get into the first topic here. And this is also a space where you can also ask questions in the chat if you're curious about something, or if someone asks you something and you want to give them an answer, you can always ask me in the chat. or you can also comment after this video. All right, so the first thing that I want to cover, I was actually talking with someone about this on Friday because this is someone that, a person that's just got out of college, they graduated in 2020. Kudos to anyone that graduated in 2020. And they want to move away from nutrition. So they were studying nutrition, that's what they got their degree in, and now they want to move to project management. So I told them a couple of things, and I thought I should just address people that are trying to get their first job, because the interesting thing about the job market right now that I'm seeing as a recruiter is that yes, it's a hot market, it's an employee or job candidate market where there's plenty of jobs for those that have at least maybe 2 years of experience. Oh, you're hot right now in a lot of industries because they, a lot of employers are like, oh my gosh, we can hire now. We may not be able to put as much effort towards training, but if you got, if you got the basics and you can kind of jump right in, we can train you along the way. However, where that leaves us is with a lot of folks that graduated in 2020, or maybe they graduated just this year in 2021, and they're like, what the heck? What the heck is going on? I'm looking for a job, and everyone's saying it's a great job market, yet I can't find the job in my field that I want. So I want to address that to kind of kick us started. And the first thing that I want to recommend the folks, if you're just trying to get that first job, is to use what you have. I would say this to anyone, but I think it's even more so important for when you're just getting started, whether you're jumping out of college or jumping out of high school, whatever it may be. Use what you have. Really take an assessment of what people do you know in your family, friends, teachers, former coaches, former whatever, just people in your circle. Get a notepad, write down people. Just write everybody down. Now, you need to reach out to all those folks. They need to understand what your skills are, what your interests are. Obviously, these should be people that you have a good, positive relationship with. You shouldn't be reaching out to a teacher where you terrorize their classroom in high school. But, these are folks that you have a good standing relationship with. Reach back out to them, connect with them, and let them know that you are actually looking for jobs, and let them know what industry that you're in, and that you're flexible. You just want to get your foot in the door somewhere, whether it's an internship or a full-time job. I do think if you're looking for that first job, you do need to be flexible to internships as well, because that can really lead you to your first job opportunity. For me, one of my internships led me to my now career, which is corporate recruiting. And it was because I was flexible. During school, I did not think I would become a recruiter. However, I was really flexible with my degree program. I switched my degree from pre-law, poli-sci, to business administration because it will allow me more flexibility in the job market. And my internship, the last internship I did, my junior and senior year of college, actually got me to a full-time role with that same company. So I was working at some of you know the story. I worked at a public relations firm that was really well known, headquartered in my hometown of St. Louis, Missouri. And I worked the internship. It was paid, so it wasn't like I never recommend anyone doing just unpaid internships. I don't think that's a great model. However, that can lead you to a nice opportunity. So use people in your network until you have listed out every single person that you know, and you have reached out to every single person and let them know what you're looking for and share with them your resume and your information. You haven't done everything you can to find a job in your field or in your area of interest. The other thing that I would say, if you've done that already, you're still not getting any leads, is to think of some creative ways to find work or create a job for yourself. There are sites like Fiverr.com, there's Upwork, there's all of these different freelance, sites where you can offer your services, show a little bit of what you can do some branding, and get clients. And that is work. That is work that you can put onto your resume, onto LinkedIn, onto these different platforms where you're promoting yourself and your skills, and that can serve as work where you're getting clients. I've talked to multiple candidates where they were in that boat, where they actually were able to either get a family friend to do some work for, get out there on Fiverr or another freelance site and find an opportunity to do some work. So just find an opportunity to do some work. This is the one area where I say you could be flexible for just doing some free work. If you have a friend, if you have a cousin, you have a sister, you have a brother, you have whoever, and they have a need for something, maybe they have a small business, maybe they just want to start something and you can help them with branding. Maybe you're a graphic designer and you can create logos for them, or you can do something. You're a producer and you can make videos and create some type of presence on a YouTube, space like YouTube, right? It's something that you can do. If you're a writer, you have an English degree and you can write, if you can translate languages, something that you can do. Find out who needs it. And a good place to start is people in your circle already. And especially if you can say, hey, I'll do it for free, just do this one thing for me. Be ready to be a reference for me because I am looking for a job. Bam, you have work. Edward says, I thought doing an unpaid internship can still be beneficial. So I am just really against people going out and they are actually giving work to a company, right, or organization, and they're not being paid for it. I cannot get with that personally. I do think it can be beneficial, Edward. I really do, because you're still getting that experience. I would say that would be the ultimate last option. Ultimate last option. Because here's the thing. I personally, if I were in this situation, I'd rather go out and get clients because then I at least have my flexibility and whatnot. An unpaid internship, typically you're still like in the guidelines of work, you're working at certain hours and stuff. And I'm just like, but you're not getting paid for it. So for me personally, it just goes against my values and what I think should happen. But yes, you could definitely, some people can take on an unpaid internship and that's fine. And I guess if you think about it, if you're going out and getting client work yourself or you're doing some free pro bono work, that's your option. But there's so many people, this is why I'm against it. There's so many people that are coming out of school and they don't have the scenario where they can just stay with their parents, or they can continue thriving and working full time. So getting to a location or getting the resources, getting the internet, getting whatever they need to work, and they're not even getting paid for it. And I mean, I was in this boat. I was not, when I graduated college, I could stay somewhere, right? But I wouldn't say that was the best environment for me. So my preference was to actually get my own space. I don't know. I think it's tough because especially in certain communities, how are they going to get to the job, right? How are they going to get to the job? They don't even have money coming in, and that you're saying to work for free. So I'm just personally not against the unpaid internships. Look, unless it's like 2 weeks, of internship, you get a job. Like if you are doing an unpaid internship, you need to go do something where you're bringing money. Now, I know there are certain groups of people that can afford to do that. Have at it. But for me, in exchange of work, I think you need to get paid for it. I do personally. Hello, Brian Lynn. Welcome in. Okay, so the other thing that I just want to mention next, onto the next topic, is switching careers, because something that has happened within the time of 2020 is that people have had more free time to think, have just assessed their current situation and said, look, I want to do something completely different, or I found a passion that I want to do and I want to move to that, but I don't have the experience yet. So someone actually came to me. I actually had a client that is in this boat. They have experience in one area, but they want to actually shift to my space, HR and recruiting. And so a couple of things I told this person during my consultation is that they really need to focus on learning, because I asked this person, do you know what specific area of HR you want to go into? When I say HR, I just mean human resources. Human resources is just people. So these are the folks in the organization that are managing the people. So from making sure everyone's getting paid, set up, onboarded, recruited, employee issues like this person, Sally, doesn't like Joe and they're batting at it and they can't get any work done. HR comes in, they're like, okay, let's sit down and let's let me mediate this situation. So they're the ones keeping the people organized, essentially. So with HR, there's a lot of different functions you can do. You can go into benefits, you can go into payroll, you can go into HRIS or HR systems or recruiting or business partnership within HR. There's so many things. And so this person wasn't quite sure what they wanted to do. So that is the first thing I would say. If you were thinking about switching careers, you need to really focus on learning before you just jump into, I just want to do the job. Because you may find out you don't actually want to do it, right? So I think when you're considering a career switch, you need to learn, you need to join organizations within that field. And there's plenty of organizations, whatever field you're trying to go into, go online, type into Google, you can find an organization, you can find free groups, you can find groups for pay, where you can learn with folks, connect with people in that industry. So you need to do that research first. You need to really find out what it is that this industry offers. And to go further than that, you need to start talking with people that are working in the field and ask them questions like, how did they actually get into their job field? How did they get there? Because you will be surprised that a lot of folks didn't just start out in college and say, yeah, I want to do this, and then they end up doing it. A lot of people kind of pivot their careers a lot of different ways, and they end up where they are 15, 20, 25 years later. And so you want to understand their story so they can give you ideas into how you can navigate where you are and maneuver yourself over. The other thing you want to ask folks that are working in that field is really, okay, so what is it that you actually do on a day-to-day basis? Because you can look at job descriptions and, they'll give the spiel on this is what you're going to do. However, realistically, you need to know on a day-to-day basis, what are people actually doing? Because you may have this kind of image of like, they're doing X, Y, and Z, when really that's not the case. That's not the reallys of the job. And so you want to understand what are the things they do that they love, right? What are the things that they love? What are the things they don't love about their job? What are the percentages of their time spent? So are they spending 80% of their time talking with clients, or are they spending 20% of their time doing administrative work? You have to understand that because you want that full picture before you just up and leave companies or leave what you're doing and jump into something that you may or may not really like because you don't know yet. So you have to focus on the education. Next, after you've, learned from everybody, you're like, hey, all right, I really want to do this. Well, then you can actually build out a plan of what you're going to do. What education do you need? How are you going to get that education? What timelines are you setting for yourself? So if I want to jump into HR and I know that getting a SHRM CP certification is going to be my first step, well then what's the time frame? I need to set real goals, realistic goals, in a specific timeline of when I'm going to actually accomplish these goals. Do I need to speak with a certain amount of people? Do I need to update my resume? Do I need to do X, Y, and Z? So you really want to make a specific plan and put that together and put timelines, build it out into your calendar before you just make that jump. It should be a transitionary period. It shouldn't just be a big, we're done and we're hopping over here. So that's why I think it's the most feasible for most people. I don't think most folks can go, I'm dropping everything and I'm going to spend this time away, not working, not bringing in an income, and I'm just going to shift careers. For most people, you're going to need that transitionary period where you're working somewhere and you're making these steps to move. You also want to understand if you're at a company already, are there options for you to move into another career field where you're at? Again, I go back to using what you already have. So using the people that you have in your network, who can you talk to? Who can help you? Who can advocate for you? And then if you're already working somewhere, is there somewhere that you can go? And how do you do that? So you need to really learn before you just make the hop, make the big jump. Okay, I'm gonna look at a couple of comments. Hey, everybody coming in. Let me see. Aline Smith. Hopefully, I'm pronouncing your name right. Welcome in. Hello, beautiful people. Oh my gosh, I love your energy already. Aileen, I love you already. Okay, thank you for stopping by, Brian. I welcome that. Hey, King of Kill, aka Teddy. Inside joke. Let's see. Spiky is in here. Hello, welcome in. Welcome, welcome. All right. So those are really my tips when it comes for switching your career. I just don't think you should just look. I'm doing this all of a sudden. I think there should be a real plan involved. This is where a lot of people go wrong. They will say they want to do this, but then there's no plan created for them. And if there is a plan, there are no set timelines. And so you come back to them 3 years later and you're like, oh, I thought you wanted to move into HR. You're still doing this? And they're like, well, yeah, I have a plan, but they didn't set those timelines in place to make sure they're doing this by, within 3 months. They're setting up their resume by, 6 months. 7 months, they are putting out those applications and they're networking. And then that's how you have to do it. Otherwise, you're just dreaming. So, alrighty. Hello from Belgium. Well, welcome in. Is it Matalesi? You guys know I'm not the best with names. Let me know if I'm pronouncing your name correctly. But hello, welcome, welcome from Belgium. Okay, so the last thing I wanted to talk about, and this is pretty general, but the best sites to actually find work. And I think you can be really flexible. I'm going to actually have to come back on a separate video so I can really dig into all the job sites because I have so many. I have like 25 job sites, and some of them are specific to diverse talent. And companies do want diverse talent and they're looking for it. So there are specific job sites. So you do have to figure out what your niche is and then go from there with understanding what other people in that space, how they go to find work, right? So for creative folks, your producers, your graphic designers, your visual artists, your motion designers, your writers, etc. They're a lot of times they're going to go to Behance or they're going to go to different niche sites. They may go to AIGA. They may go, of course, the LinkedIn, Glassdoor, but sometimes you will need to get away from the mainstream LinkedIn, Glassdoor, Indeed, and go into some niche sites and partner with some more local sites as well. So, for example, if you're in New York, there's an array of different organizations that partner with companies where they're helping them find talent. So you just have to figure out what that is. And a lot of times you're going to do that by talking to people. It's not, in this case, a simple Google search. You need to really you have to be in the end, with the folks that are actually doing the work. Figure out how they got their job. How did you get your job, right? And then go from there. IT is a little different. LinkedIn is really easy. Glassdoor, but also dice.com. There's also other niche sites as well. So you really have to hone in on that. Alrighty. Oh, I did. Oh, I pronounced your name correctly? Oh, I'm so happy about that. That's amazing. Well, cool. So I'm going to shift over to Reddit because those are the things that I wanted to address. If anyone does have questions, just let me know. I am looking at two screens, so if I'm not giving eye contact to the camera, it's just because, not really looking at the camera. I'm looking at the computer. Alrighty, so let's see if I can share. Yes, I'm going to share this. Not share the audio. Let's see what comes up here. I really haven't looked, so let's see. Let me do a refresh. Oh, wait. Okay. So this is just what comes up in my feed in Reddit. So the first thing is, are interviews. Someone is asking or saying that after 3 interviews, they want to set up another one to discuss the decision. Should I be hopeful that I am getting a positive response, since if they didn't think I am a fit, they would have just sent a rejection email? Overall, I had a very pleasant email exchange before and after technical interview with the hiring manager. The hiring manager and the team are asking to meet with me to discuss the decision. Let's see what else they have to say here. Oh, that's it. Okay, so should I be hopeful that I'm getting a positive response? Yeah. I would say anytime that you're being asked to set up another discussion with a job, it is normally a good sign that you're moving on in the process. If we're not interested in you, we're not gonna bring you back for a second, third, fourth round interview. I think it's unfortunate that we can't make decisions within 2 or 3 meetings. However, it's just a process, especially with things being virtual now. Employers are kind of cautious because they can't see anyone in person. So they feel like they need more people to meet you as a job candidate. And it's just like, I get both sides of it, but it can be a lot. And it does question, okay, well, after I meet this person, are we going to get to a decision? So that's where a lot of hiring managers are at. They're just trying to get multiple insights and make sure they're making the right decision, because especially now that we're virtual, they're not seeing a person face to face, eyeball to eyeball. We can't look directly and be in the same vicinity. So with that, they need more people to weigh in on the decision. But I think that's a really good sign. So this next person, I like this one, is saying sending a question via email after an interview, advice or suggestions. So I'm just going to click into this one. This person is saying, I want to send a question in my post-interview email. Oh goodness, this is a long one, guys. Okay, I would pick this one. I want to send a question in my post-interview email, as at the end they said, if I have any questions, just send them an email. That's pretty common. Most recruiters will say, hey, send me an email if you have questions. What are some good questions to ask? At the end of my interview, I asked what would be the day-to-day tasks, responsibilities, and what the next steps of the job application process would be, I'm guessing they're trying to say. I did struggle in the interview, so I want to make sure I do send an email, and like if there is any slim chance also, so I have done all I can possibly do to turn it. Instead of leaving it to, I'm pretty sure it will be a complete no. What? I feel like this person is overthinking. I do think I have lots to offer, not as straightforward. I have the exact degree and work experience, but more if they gave me a chance. I have a diverse set of skills and education. It's a big opportunity. Even getting to the interview stage is an achievement in itself. I don't know if I didn't have nerves, I would be the best candidate. What? They're kind of contradicting themselves. I was thinking, like, asking what other departments the role would be working with, as it's the marketing position. Okay, so here's the thing. They're asking what kind of question would be a good question to ask post-interview. If you don't have any real questions, you don't have to ask any questions. So you ask probably the most important questions you could ask. What are the next steps in the process? You ask about the job responsibilities, the day-to-day work. I don't really see the need for additional questions. I really don't. I don't. Like, if you don't have questions naturally, just wait a few days, see if they come back to you. You could always just send a follow-up thank you email. Like, hey, thank you. I appreciate the time. I'm really interested because X, Y, and Z. Here's how I'd be a great fit, and remind them of that. But they're just kind of all over the place in this email. I think they're questioning whether they'd be a good fit, and they're feeling like they didn't represent themselves in the best way during their interview. So look, here's the thing. If you didn't feel like you represented your best way in the interview, send a thank you note, follow up. But you don't have to just come up with some questions to ask just because they said, let them know if you have questions. You could always follow up in a few days if you haven't heard back. I don't know what that is. I'm scrolling. Okay. And yes, Spiky said, isn't that a sign they are interested in you? Exactly. If they're not interested, it's kind of like dating, right? Okay, so if I'm interested in someone, I'm going to go on another date with them. If I'm not interested in them, I'm not going to. So if a company is interested in a candidate and the candidate is interested in the company, they're going to continue dating, aka interviewing. It's kind of like matchmaking, right? So it's simple. So if they're still pursuing, the company is still pursuing you and saying, hey, can you meet with another person? That just means we like you. Can you talk to somebody else? Until that stops, then you can kind of assume they're still interested. Alrighty, so the next question up here, I'm probably just gonna do a couple more and then I'm gonna get off. But anyone else feel cheated after graduating college? Ooh, I like this one. I mean, some of you know my personal thoughts about college. Okay, they're saying it amazes me that you can bust your doo-doo to pass and invest so much time, money, only to have such a hard time getting a job after. Uh-oh, it went away. Hold on. Okay, only to have a hard time getting a job. I don't know why it keeps going away. Getting a job after graduating. Then I have lots of friends that never went to school and they're having much more money than the jobs I'm applying for that require a degree. Seems so backwards. And here's the thing with that. I want to see what people are saying. But the thing with that though is that degrees don't get you the job themselves. They don't. Now, your education can be very important depending on what your education is in. If your education is in something that is very well sought after, then yeah, you're probably going to have a scenario where you're more likely sought after, right? However, if you got a degree in something that no one really cares so much about, like I don't know, let's just think of something. Oh, I went to school to study snake plants, and there's not really a demand for that, then you're going to have a hard time. The other aspect of it that I think people forget, and I'm going to get out of here and go back to the list of other things, but I think people forget that, what you do during college is just as important as you getting the degree. So if you just got the degree and you didn't do anything else, it's going to be really tough for you. It's already tough just because the degree isn't as valued if everyone else has the degree. So say I get a marketing degree and 500,000 other people have a market degree. Well, what do I bring to the table as far as entering a job market when everyone else has the same degree? So your specific skills, your personality, your ability to work with people, all of these different skills, soft skills, technical skills, everything you add on makes you more valuable. But let's see what folks are saying. Someone says, I did a bachelor in software engineering, although it did help me land a job, but they did not prep me at all for the job I was about to do, like zero. Had to discard everything I learned and relearn the proper technique. Some still valid, like data structure. Oop, my university had so many nonsense extra compulsory courses, I guess, that does not even help an actual career progression. I agree with that. I was considering accounting. I actually got a NABA scholarship before I went to school because I was like, maybe I'll do accounting. They'll give me money for this. I'm going to apply for it. But I actually, thought about that. And then one of my mom's friends who had a degree in accounting said, well, you can study accounting, but what you learn in college is not what you're actually going to do. And I did take accounting classes, the debits and credits, all that stuff. And she was telling me, like, that's not what you're going to do if you shift to accounting. And so I was like, oh, interesting. And a lot of times that is the case. Like, you learn the basics and then you actually have to relearn. So this is what people are saying in here. A lot of people are saying that they aren't using a degree. Yeah. And it kind of brings the question up of, do you even need a degree? All right. I don't think you do in a lot of different fields. I don't think you do. However, it's kind of that thing that a lot of people have attained degrees and now they want everyone else to have a degree to get a job. The other thing with the degree is for folks that need work sponsorship. So let's say we had our friend here from Belgium. Let's say this person wants to come from Belgium to the US. Well, they would need to make a case for sponsorship. The company would if they wanted to hire this person. If they do not have a degree, it makes it really tough for them to do that. So there's a lot of different aspects of why companies may ask for a degree. especially in the technical field, because that is one field where, companies will sponsor candidates from other countries, or, that are immigrants to this country here in the US. So there's a lot that goes into that sometimes. You're replaceable at your job. Oh my goodness. Okay, I think this is the last one I'll look at. There aren't really a lot of questions, just people, more so people just griping, which I get it. It's just a weird time right now. You're replaceable at your job. I've been at my company for 2 months now. I have began seeing red flags, people walking out, quitting, people being fired, more than I have in my whole life of working. Wow. Anyways, Friday, my manager terminated the employee in our department that's been there the longest, 3 years, like it was nothing. They escorted them out of the door, turned to me, cut their badge up, and promptly told me to list their job online. You are replaceable. Don't ever feel bad quitting a job. Companies are quick to drop you with no warning or heart. That is so sad. Yes, I'm currently looking for other opportunities, but man, it just hit me really hard how callous it was. I would imagine that's just not a good work environment. I do not think all companies are like that. I've benefited from joining some really good companies where, because look, the people make up the company. So if people don't care, then that's how you get these toxic type of work environments where you're in scenarios where people do care. You're not going to have stuff like that happen, right? You're just not. You're not going to just have, you're gone, right? Now, do companies terminate employees? Yes, for different reasons. And I would wonder, because sometimes as an employee, you just don't see what's going on behind the scenes. I'm just going to make up a name. I may love Tasha, and we work really well together, and she's my friend at work, right? And there is no Tasha. I'm just making up Tasha. But I don't see the behind the scenes. I don't see her work output. I mean, I see the conversation she's having with her manager, with other employees, and things of that nature. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. So for an employee, it may look like, oh my gosh, they just threw Tasha out and all this stuff. But you don't see everything. So it's really hard to make that assessment. Are there some really tough workplaces where they make really bad decisions? They do things like what this person was saying? Yeah, unfortunately, there are. I would say for the most part, when you have a good environment where there are really good people that are ethical, that care about other folks, you don't have as much of that. Okay, I'm gonna look at some of the comments. There are good jobs, but it's just that, a job, not a career. The right degree starts your career. If you lose that job, those skills might not even be transferable. I agree partially. I do think there are good jobs and careers. So when we're talking about a career, we're talking about something where you have the education or the knowledge and the skills and abilities to where even if you were to leave this job that you're in, you still have a career, right? It's when we're talking about just simply a job, folks that I could go work at Steak and Shake, right? And that would be a job. But is that a career for me? Is that something I want to do long term? Am I going to walk away from Steak and Shake and be like, I have this long standing career and I have all these great skills and things I can take with me? No, it's a job that you're doing to bring in an income oftentimes. It's not like you're building a career, unless I'm saying I want to venture off and have my own Steak and Shake business. I want to have a franchise, right? That would be different. Or I want to become a store manager and make that my career trajectory. That's definitely talking about two different scenarios. But a lot of folks just look at things as this is the job. But think about our jobs as what you can get to. It's not just a one-sided thing. So yes, I'm providing services for a company and they are paying me, but I should also be getting other things out of that job. I should be getting experiences that I'm interested in. I should be giving a positive work environment where I can thrive. I should be getting some sort of training, right? Learning and development, whether that is mentorship from those that have more experience than me, or direct training where the company is paying for some type of technical training that I'm going to. I've had trainings myself. I had a company that actually I was laid off from, and half of my team at the time, which was very traumatic. Very traumatic. I can smile now, but it was like, oh man, yeah, it's a job, right? But what did I get from them? I gained 2 different certifications and a lot of mentorship from my then manager, who was also laid off. She was laid off before me, and then I went. It was just like a whole mess. It was a mess. I will say that layoffs are very messy, especially if they're not managed the right way. And that one I don't think was managed the right way. My personal feedback. I'm not going to say which company, but I gained a lot as well. So I do think when you are an employee, you do need to look at things two-sided. You should be getting a lot from the company as well as you're putting in. You know, a lot of us, we work hard, we're putting in a lot, we're giving to our company, but we need to be getting something back. It should not just be a one-sided transaction, you know? So that's my take on it. And I do agree, you should have transferable skills. You need to be focused on gaining skills, gaining knowledge, getting better at your craft, whatever that may be. It's not just, we shouldn't be looking at things as just, oh, this is just a job. Yes, it is a job, and we don't have any loyalty. In the US, most companies, we have at will employment. So I can leave at any time. They can say it's time for you to leave at any time. So yes, there should not be like this strong necessarily sense of commitment in a place where you're not getting, you're not getting what you need out of that scenario. If you're in a toxic environment, it's just time to go, right? In the same way with the employer, if there's someone bringing toxicity or not doing their job, well, they have that right to say, bye-bye, it's time. It's time for us to split. Time for us to split ways. Edward says it depends on what you have a degree in and if it's marketable. Exactly, Edward. Exactly. 100% true. It has to be marketable. You have to have, it's the supply and demand. We talk about that on Money Talk Mondays. Yes, Money Talk Mondays. So we talk about cryptocurrency and stocks and just, the prices of things going up and down. Well, what actually makes the price? It's the supply and demand. So if there's a high demand for folks with artificial intelligence understanding or blockchain understanding, well, the price has to go up for that skill set. And so therefore, you're going to have an array of jobs you're going to be able to pick and choose from. But if there is a market where you're saying, oh, I'm going to get I'll just use myself, I'm going to get an HR degree. There's plenty of HR professionals. Well, the only way that you increase your price, right, is you have to get more niche skills. You have to be more skilled and get some of those things that more HR professionals may not move into. Like a lot of HR professionals don't want to do recruitment work. They just don't want to. And so you're getting a little more niche. And then tech recruitment, a lot of people don't want to do that. They may not want to because they think, ooh, tech's scary. And so you get more niche and the price goes up. So I'm actually going to talk more about that in an upcoming video. King Kill says, I knew people making close to $30 an hour at a factory. They shipped that factory to Mexico and those people were out of work with no skills. There you go, right? And we talked about this on the channel too with the factory jobs. I don't want people to get so cushy and comfortable with, I'll just go down the street and work at this factory over here because of artificial intelligence, because of machine learning, because of the fact that we do see already, it's already here, we see the trend of having robotics in the workplace and having the robots do a lot of the skills that they can do to replace some of the labor. Now, there's still a lot of things like we talked about with humans. We have fingers and we can grasp little things and tiny things that robots can't do right now. So there is a place for robots. I do think in the factories, you're going to work alongside robots continuously. Already we are, if you think of it more big picture, but I think it's going to happen more and more. I see little companies like Miso Robotics, for example, with their approach to cooking, where there's the mechanical chef. And so they're going to handle the fries, the robot is, and now you just got to do this. So maybe there's just one person. You see it at places like CVS. You go into CVS, there's barely any people around. You check out at a machine. So I don't want people to get too comfortable with that either. So King of Kill, 100% right. We have to focus on having people become more skilled versus just relying on, oh, I'll just get this job. So focus on your, career and what you're getting out of the job that you have at hand. You should be gaining transferable skills, which King of Kill is pointing out here. Hi, Yolanda. Welcome in. How are you doing? Hope you're doing well. Oh, thank you for the $5 super chat, Yolanda. Yolanda says video game controller looks forlorn and in between the words, try again. Interesting. Thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate you supporting the channel always. And thank you. Edward says, oh, Edward is thanking you for your super chat as well. Thank you. I'm going to leave that up on the screen so other people can see that again. Right? Okay. So I will close this out with just that idea, right? We have to focus on becoming more skills. We cannot just focus on, oh, we're just getting a job. Okay? We have to become more skilled. We have to at the end of the day. And to the point of that person that was kind of ranting on Reddit, yes, everything is at will in the US. So it's not like we're in this industry where, oh my goodness, we have to work at a job for 10, 15 years and they're just going to take care of us. We're going to get this pension. That life is just not happening, guys. It's not happening anymore. Yolanda, thank you for the another $5 super chat. I appreciate that. I definitely appreciate you supporting the channel. I appreciate it so much. All right, guys. Are there any other comments before I go? Guys know I have to I gotta rest up. It hurts to just move. It hurts to move. If you join me on the first half of the conversation, you know what I'm talking about. But my acrobatic hobbies are working on me, which means I am gaining some new muscles, but it definitely hurts. All right, so I'm going to close things out. Thank you so much again, Yolanda, for the super chat. Thank you to my members in the chat. King of Kill is one of my lovely members. Edward is one of my lovely members and moderator for the conversation today, and normally is in my chat as a moderator. Let's see who else was in here. Barry Johnson had joined earlier. Thank you so much for being a member as well. And I think those are only members in here in the chat today, but I appreciate all of you. And Yolanda, thank you again for supporting the channel today. Real Brother says, I don't always have the opportunity to comment, but I thoroughly enjoy the content. Rest up. Oh, thank you, Real Brother. I appreciate that. I do. Alrighty, guys. Well, I'm going to go. I do plan on coming back a little later to have the other conversation if I'm ready for it. If I'm in my emotions or something later today, I may not. I might have to push it back again, but we'll see how I'm feeling later. And again, thank you all so much for being here and have a great day. Bye, lovely people.